So in today's video, we're going to give my cheap $140 MacBook Pro a bit of a makeover. So in my last video on this computer, I had mentioned that there were a ton of options for something that was so cheap and in such good condition. You could take it apart and sell all of the parts individually, or you could fix it up with a nice solid-state drive and a little bit of extra RAM and flip it for a really sizable profit. And I also mentioned the possibility of giving it an upgrade, since it's an early 2011, to a mid-2012 MacBook Pro that would give it a lot more power and reliability. I wonder which one I chose. This is a mid-2012 15-inch unibody MacBook Pro, and I paid $300 and change for it. Now this is the upgraded one. It has the 1GB NVIDIA GT650M and the 2.6 GHz quad-core i7. And the reason why it was so inexpensive is, cosmetically, there are a few issues. The lid is not in the best shape, and it's got a number of marks and dents and scuffs around the body. But frankly, I don't care about the physical condition of this computer. I'm only interested in that board. Now you may be wondering why I bought an entire computer instead of just buying the logic board, and well, it turned out to be less expensive to do it that way. Logic boards for MacBook Pros are very expensive, and even just buying one on its own on eBay used is probably close to $400 or $450. Plus, now I have two complete working laptops, so once I swap the board, I can sell this computer and get a lot of my money back. So performing this upgrade is going to give a lot of benefits to my 2011 MacBook Pro. Obviously, the big one is the Ivy Bridge processors, which are significantly more powerful, the NVIDIA GT650M graphics, which are not only significantly more powerful, but also don't fail and break all the time. So without any further ado, let's hop into the upgrades. Okay, so let's talk about what exactly we're switching over. Over here is the Target computer housing. This is the good condition one. So the board from the 2012 is coming over. The battery actually only has 60 cycles, so I'm taking that. Also, we have to switch the airport cards because this is Bluetooth 4.0 and this is Bluetooth 2.1 EDR, so we're going to want to keep that with the 2011 and take the better Bluetooth for ourselves. Also, while I'm at it, I'm going to change the thermal paste on both of these machines because we're already going to have the board out. Might as well just do the thermal paste. Alright, so let's get cracking. Okay, so that's the bulk of the swap-a-rooing. The rest is just sort of minor things, switching the battery, switching the optical drive, stuff like that. So I'm going to do that off camera, and we'll cut back once everything is done. Okie dokie, so as you can see behind me, both computers are up and running. The 2011, this is the one with the damage on the display. This is now the 2011, and the 2012 is now the nice one. I'm going to finish up here. I've got a few more upgrades that I'm going to do on this 2012, and then I'm going to come back once this thing is finished up and once I've sold the 2011. Well, here it is, the finished product and what I'm calling the Frankenbook. That's in reference to the failed iMacinstein project, if any of you remember that. The main reason I decided to do this project at all was because the mystery MacBook Pro that I bought for $140 was in such outstanding condition, considering that it was a 7 or 8-year-old machine. So that condition carries over to the new Frankenbook quite nicely, but now we actually have the internals to back it up. So let's go over the full specs of this machine. My machine is running the Core i7-3720QM. That's a 2.6 GHz quad-core hyper-threaded processor. To go along with that, we have 8 GB of 1600 MHz DDR3 RAM and a 240 GB solid-state drive. Powering the 1440x900 TN display is an NVIDIA GT650M with 1 GB of VRAM. So the Frankenbook is now actually directly comparable to this, the original MacBook Pro with Retina display. This is a mid-2012 with the same Core i7-3720QM, the same NVIDIA graphics, the same 8 GB of RAM, and this one has a 512 gig SSD, but largely these two machines are identical in terms of their performance. The Frankenbook does have some advantages, mainly its upgradability and the cost savings that you're going to get over a Retina. However, it has to be said that the Retina display is excellent. Compared to this 2880x1800 IPS display, the rather dismal TN panel in the 15-inch non-Retina MacBook Pro isn't ideal. But how does the Frankenbook compare to the 2011 MacBook Pro that it used to be? Let's run through some of the benchmarks. In Geekbench 4, the 2011 had a multi-core score of 9,590. The new Frankenbook has a much higher score of 12,543. That's getting very close to some of the much more expensive Retina MacBook Pros, even as recently as 2016. In Cinebench R20, we also see some very significant performance gains. The 2011 scored 881 CB, whereas the Frankenbook scores a much better 1,363. As far as the graphics, the Geekbench compute score for the 2011 was 2,816. The 2012 almost triples this, with a compute score of 6,718. Obviously not great, but it's a significant improvement over the 2011. So in addition to the significant performance gains, we now have a machine that is natively supported under macOS Mojave, doesn't have any graphics issues, and is in fact one of the most reliable MacBook Pros you can buy, as well as having the much faster USB 3 and Bluetooth 4. This is a very, very significant upgrade. For anyone that has a 2011 MacBook Pro, this is an upgrade that you might want to consider. But if you are considering it, one thing that you're probably going to want to keep in mind is the cost. How much did this machine end up costing? Because obviously we combined two computers, some other parts were thrown in the mix. It was certainly a little bit messy from a price perspective, so let's run through the cost of this machine once all is said and done. So the original MacBook Pro cost me $140. On top of that, I paid $30 for an SSD and $25 for a battery, which brought my total in that device to $195. Now in that video, I counted the RAM upgrade that I performed in my pricing. However, I'm not counting that for this one because when I bought the 2012 MacBook Pro, I took the 8 GB of RAM that came in it, and I used the 4 GB of RAM that was in the 2011 when I sold that machine off. So the RAM that I put in the 2011 in the last video is not part of this equation. So for the 2012 that I just mentioned, I paid $307 total. So that means that my total investment in both of these devices was $502. I sold the other MacBook Pro for $178.50. So after eBay fees, I'll get $157.08 back. When we subtract that from my total investment, the Frankenbook cost me $344.92 in total. Now, obviously, there's some people that are going to say, oh, what? You're paying $345 for a 7-year-old machine with a TN display. That's garbage. You're terrible. Apple is the worst. And I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, yeah, and then you could build a PC that's better, blah, blah, blah. I have heard it all before. I really don't care. That's a really good price for a 2012 MacBook Pro, considering that this is pretty much at the end of the day, a $450, maybe even a $500 machine if you list it properly. So I've actually got pretty decent equity in the Frankenbook, and when you consider that this is already pretty much the most powerful unibody MacBook Pro that you can buy, I'd say $345 is a pretty good price. For someone who's looking for video editing on the go, this is a pretty decent machine. You could edit 1080p video with that Core i7 and the NVIDIA graphics with no problem whatsoever. And because you can put so much internal storage in this thing for really very little money, there's a lot of potential for a machine like this. I'll tell you where else there's some potential, is in your ability to learn digital skills in a digital age. And that's where today's video sponsor very smoothly fits in, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform with classes to help you learn digital skills in a digital age, all at your own pace. You can tailor your learning experience to suit your tastes and proceed whenever you want, so learning how to make use of the Frankenbook would be as easy as logging in. As usual, I'll have a link down below, and the first 500 people to click and sign up will get a free 2 months of Skillshare Premium, so definitely make sure to check that out. And while you're at it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Miani, and I will see you guys in the next video.